Thanks for hanging out as well, guys.
Welcome to round 8 of the Nations Cup. We are here watching King Jev, also known as Jev James, his second alias, and we are going to see how he fares in this Nations Cup. Okay, the Grecian in second, very good, very good. In third, we have the German, number 10 car, so he is operating above his driver rating. Fifth in fourth, that's very good there. And we see the French guy in here, Mbe, with the number 1 car, so he is operating a little bit low. But here we have the Playboy Bunny car with the 4 on the mobile, Jev James, operating a little bit lower than maybe his driver rating suggests. As we look further back in the field now, we come to number 9, Scotchy there, the Russian. Will he have a play in this wonderful race we have here? Now it seems like everyone's going for the Porsche. Yes, apparently it puts out over 1,000 brake horsepower and uses its 4-wheel drive to go... Nope, I'm being told that... Nope, it doesn't have 1,000 horsepower. That is false information. I'm sorry. Moving back here, we have KRT Mad Mike in 14th. In 15th with the 14 car. Seems like he is in a place where he should be. Only 16 cars on the field. That is going to affect the amount of points available in this race. Now, I'm being told in my ear once again, yes, this ear, that on the table is about 1,600 points. So, how are we going to do? Starting in 6th, here we go. Waiting for the go. 2, 1. And we're away! Yes, in 6th, trying to stick with the Frenchman in front of us, coming into the first corner. Now, usually first turns are quite problematic in this game. Very cautious under braking, just trying to get over that curb. You have to use a lot of curb on these first 2 corners. Yes, a good gap between the car in front and the car behind. Really trying to keep that power on. He's done very well, and now he's in the slipstream. Now the slipstream is actually put on weak on this race, so it's not as useful as possibly in other races. Coming in here, yes, a good cut on the curb again. Very good. Oh, some glitching behind, some major glitching behind, but our eyes are on the Frenchman in front. Coming into this fast right-hander, it's very difficult to get this one right as it is a double apex corner. Yes, okay, all heavy onto the braking now, and in, taking the curb. Nicely done there. Now it seems like these first 6 are pretty well matched. Was that a little booty tap on the Frenchman? We will see. No SR knock though as we come into one of the last corners here. A tight right-hander, choosing to take it in second just to get that extra bit of traction out of the corner. Yes, and the fast left-hand corner. Coming into the final corner. Well, maybe the final corner. It's the final tight corner of the straight. Really important you get this one right, as the speed out of this corner really matters. Now, are we in this weak slipstream of the guy in 5th? Yes, we are. We're just sticking with him. Are we closing? Only just. We're keeping them in sight. A nice gap to Rodders in 7th. Coming in here hard on the brakes. We are using the sports soft tyres, so not as grippy as the racings obviously, but still got that little bit of grip that we can use. A good corner there, but we've somehow lost a bunch of time. Rodders keeping that gap. Purple sector, as you would imagine, onto the second lap as everyone is beating the first original lap time. Coming up onto 5th. Now, a gap seems to be emerging between Jev James and 5th, but they have all seemed to have bunched up on that corner. Big slide there by the Playboy Bunny car. And good again. And just one corner. We have seen that we have closed that time down. Yes, close that time down. Yes, and we are on the back of the number 5 car again, even though it's not a number 5 car, it's the number 1 car. Smooth out of there. Now this corner very tricky. You don't know whether to go full power or just to lift, or do you change gear early? Onto the brakes. Can we cut this corner nicely? Little bit of slide keeps it under track. Now this is an important moment. We're heavily into the slip,
How is he still getting
but
away
somehow
from me,
they're
though?
getting away. I think this is because of the brake bias. The brake bias, we have it on +5. They might have it a little bit different, so that launch out of the corner is very, very affected by the brake bias. We have found that out this race, so we will be definitely using it in other races. I mean, I don't know. I'm only Reginald D.Wintersbury, but I'm not Jeff James, but I would think that he would be using that information in other races. Okay, the Frenchman has had a weak first 2 corners, and we are now heavily in the suck zone. I hear a lot of people say that it is the suck zone, so we're going to go with that. Heavy on the brakes just before the 100 board. Trying to trail brake just into there. Bit of a slide, power down though, and we're out and still in the sucks.
Holy hell.
A good gap now between us and I say us, but Jeff James and 7th place Rodders there, which is good. A little bit of peace of mind. The Frenchman sliding in there. Oh, he's gone for a little bit of a move there. Keeping it nice and planted through here. It's really easy to get that slide in that left-hand corner there as we come up into the second tight right-handed. Just a touch of grass, but we've controlled it there. A nice late apex if we've come through into this sweeping left now. Just checking the shoulder there. Yes, Rodders is still there. And into the heavy braking point. Second gear. Good cut on the rumble strips there, and now we're away. Now we're away. Can we push? Third lap in, nothing's really changed. I haven't seen any change in position in the first, in the top players there. 1 to 6th, well, 1 to 7th and 8th, still in the same positions. Now, coming into the heavy braking zone again. Will he go up the inside? He's gone for it. He's bloody gone for it. No, but the Frenchman has held on. But we're going to get a good run out here. The South African has blocked the Frenchman. The Frenchman's gone in the back of the South African, which has given Jeff James the opportunity to go past. And he has bloody well taken it. Jeff James up into 5th place at the start of the 4th lap. This is very, very good for the young driver out of Gloucestershire, England. A good corner there. 3 tenths, 4 tenths separating him and 6th place now. Can he catch the South African in front as we come into this double apex, this double right-hand corner here? Most people go wider and then come back for a little bit more power on this, but a big slide coming in there from the Playboy Bunny car. I didn't see what happened to the South African there in the first corner, but we can only presume or assume that it was a mistake or an altercation with another player. Now, looking behind, the Frenchman has actually lost out to the Russian player. The Russian player has gone past Rodders and past the Frenchman, but now we have a good 1.1 gap between 6th and 5th place, going a little bit wide, but there's quite a lot of runoff on that corner. Coming onto the final straight in 5th, doing very well, very consistent driving here from the young Englishman. Can he keep it up? We've heard that his consistency has cost him places in previous races. Lap time, 0.3 down on his fastest lap, doing some consistent times there, 42, 42, 42. Really important to take a lot of that bumping, rumble bumpskins, rumble strips on that second corner there. 1.2 the gap behind. Very good gap. We like that. We like to see that. Jeff James in 5th. A little bit of a gap happening in between, but you know, like we've seen before, sometimes they get grouped up. They have to go off the racing line to try and defend or attack, and that will lead to the players behind, the racers behind, to close that gap and therefore bring them into the fray. A big slide there now as the tyres will get more worn. the booty will start shaking. Can we keep it nice and controlled here early on the power there?
Do it for the good of you.
Excuse me profusely. Now into the tight right-hand corner. Still choosing to go second gear there. He might have to change that as he goes on. Big slide now, but he's keeping the power in. Bloody brilliant driving on the brakes just before the 50 board there, down to second. Can we get the power on? Now the gap is around a second now. They are in the suck of each other, and Jeff James is just outside of the suck. He loves this. In most races, he is neither between or in something. The halfway point sees us gone up one position. A nice solid lap there again, another 42. The consistency of this driver is astounding. Big slide there, big slide again. That's only going to cost him time between him and the car behind now. It is down to 3/10 to the Russian behind, and boy is he catching. Ooh, just behind there, I think it was the Frenchman with a penalty. I don't see any change in the ranking in the 6th, 7th and 8th there. If it was the Frenchman, we should have surely seen him drop down, unless he's doing the ABS glitch, which we know only people that are cheating do it. Now, the Russian on the inside, is he going to take it? Yes. Couldn't really get over there. Can we fight it around the outside? Big slides coming around the outside. Who's going to get on the brakes first? Oh, the Russian has just got in. Can't cut across him there. Little booty tap there, but we couldn't do anything. Had to let him have it. Little SR knock there for a little tap. Absolute bull crap. But we're in here. Are we going to make a move? No. Still 7, 8 and the 9th lap to do stuff here. We're going to settle in to number 6. Another big slide, looking just over the player in the bottom left hand of your screen. Look at those tyres just starting to get worn. The right side of the car will get more worn than the left side, as it as there are more right-hand corners on this track than more left-hand corners, which will obviously wear out the right hand tyres more than the left. A big gap in between 5th and 4th now. This is not good if Jeff James wants to get onto the back of that pack up front. A good run out there sees us gaining slightly on the Russian in front. 7, 8, 9, 3 laps to go. How are we going to fare? How is he going to fare? Not us. We're Rumpelbumpskin Jeremy III. Into here. Big slide now. Can we get on the power? It's not a good corner. And we've, looking behind, it is a 1.4 gap behind. So we should be okay from the Frenchman behind. Let him do his thing. Try and focus up. Now look, they are closening together, which is good, as they are now battling for position, which allows us to get a little bit closer. I mean James. Can we keep it smooth through here? No, the booty is just a little bit slidey. Now on the power, up to this tight right-hand corner. Is he going to stay in second, or is he going to drop it down to first for that little bit of launch? No, second. Now, what is going to happen up here? The train of cars consistently not good. In that last lap, you see us do a 1:44, so a few mistakes, obviously, in that 6th lap. And once again, not a good exit onto the final straight. 56 people watching this beautiful bastard race around this track. It's wonderful. The crowd are going wild. The Playboy machine seems to be working, as we did have just the purple livery before, and it did not work. Obviously, when you put the Playboy livery on, it gives a turning speed and grip up 16.4% on the left side and 12.9% on right-handed corners. So it's really important that you get a good livery. Right, 2 more laps. 6th place sits Jeff James. This is where he started, so the race is going good. Consistency is slipping now, as we see the second 1:44. But now we are heavily on the back of the group here.
Something's got to happen.
Sweeping left. Can we stay in the suck? Something has got to happen. We see it time and time again as we get closer to the end of the race. We see packs of cars get closer and closer together. Little touches happen. Temperatures rise. And will they rise in this? The South African pushed a little bit wide. The Frenchman coming in and just boshing past Jeff James there. Absolute terrible driving there. But he's kept on the inside. There's nothing we can do but just let him go. Look at that. On the late on the brakes there, Jeff James goes up the inside. Yes, he regains 6. And now he comes into the fast left-hand corner. Rightly so, that the Frenchman drops down a place after a terrible move. Can we now get on the power early? This is coming up for the last lap. What is going to happen? It seems like the Frenchman really wants that 6th place, but is he going to get it? Here we go. The gap in front, around 6/10, I believe, maybe 8/10, I don't know, my glasses aren't really working today. On the brakes, having to brake that little bit earlier as the tyres, and a big punt come in from the Frenchman. Second time he has hit us, cutting the corner very nicely. That's a good run out. The Grecian in front of us seeming to struggle with his tyre wear as he was in 2nd place at the start of this race. Now a nice little gap to the Frenchman behind, sitting in 6th, coming into this left-hand corner, braking just before that 100 mark again. Sliding in, everyone seeming to have slowed down now as the 8th lap, as we look on the right side of the screen, was a 1:45. Coming into this fast double right-hander again, down to 3rd. Is it going to get chippy up ahead? If you see in the radar, you see the Frenchman appearing once again into the radar as we are slowed up by the cars in front of us. Going defensive into the left-hand corner there. The Russian actually in first now. He's had a great race, started 9th, and now he is in first. We're going defensive on the Frenchman. The Frenchman hits us into the Grecian. The Frenchman trying really hard with dirty tactics to get up there. We're on the inside now though, and we're in front of the Frenchman into last corner, braking at the regular. Another touch from the Frenchman, and we're sliding into the last corner. The Frenchman is absolutely gone. He is out of the top 8th, and we're on the inside of the Croatian coming into 5th. I don't know why the Croatian has got the 2-second penalty, but it doesn't matter. We are coming in to get 4th position, and when I say we, obviously I mean Jeff James. What a race! What a race! Consistently there. Lap time was there, and a bit of luck as we see Neo, or Mbe even, in 13th, absolutely ruined his race by going too damn aggressive. What an absolute fantastic race. This has been me, Reginald D.Wintersbury III, commentating on Jeff James and his triumph. I believe he gets 1,300 odd points for this. Fantastic. Most points he's ever achieved in the Nations Cup.
Fucking justice, Northern.
Thank you for watching, commenting,
that was a freaking
subscribing,
awesome
and that Jazz, the Playboy Bunny Mobile, has done well. 13,507 points. And we will see you in the next one.